This is The Scoop for Monday.
I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines. All diversity, equity, and inclusion staff at the University of Florida have been fired. WMNF's Randy Zimmerman reports the whole department has been shuttered by the administration.
All 13 people in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion received their notice and an offer for the university standard 12 weeks pay. According to a memo from the university, fired employees will also be, quote, fast-tracked, unquote, for other university positions. University administrators say they are eliminating the office, firing diversity, equity, and inclusion staff, eliminating all administrative appointments, and stopping DEI-focused contracts because of a new law passed last year and implemented in January. The law forbids state and federal funds from promoting, supporting, maintaining university programs or activities. The university's Office of DEI webpage currently states, quote, inclusive excellence is the active process of including and respecting everyone as we strive for excellence and equitable outcomes in all we do at the University of Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis hailed the firings and closure on X, formerly Twitter, and wrote, DEI is toxic, and hopes other states follow Florida's lead. An estimated $5 million to support university-wide diversity, equity, inclusion efforts will now move to faculty recruitment. For WMNF News, I'm Randy Zimmerman.
A controversial bill forcing transgender people to identify their sex assigned at birth on their driver's license will not be heard in the state Senate. However, WMNF's Chris Young reports the bill did pass in the House despite pushback.
House Bill 1639 would require sex assigned at birth to be listed on driver's licenses. It would also require certain medical providers to cover conversion therapy and detransitioning services. Republican Representative Dean Black is a sponsor of the bill.
It's no different than someone who's born with blue eyes who gets green contacts. They'll appear as they appear, but we all understand that their sex is an immutable biological characteristic.
Democratic Representative Angie Nixon spoke against the bill.
This bill is very problematic. It shouldn't even be heard. It's not going to be heard in the Senate, so I really don't know why we're here. We are discriminating against people. It's just flat out wrong.
Last month, LGBTQ activists spoke against this bill and others at a rally at the state capitol. Democratic Senator Chevron Jones is openly gay and called for change.
The LGBTQ community will no longer continue to be the punching bag of the Florida legislature.
Senate President Kathleen Passidomo made it clear that this bill is dead in the Senate.
That bill, as far as I recall, that bill is still stuck in committee, and so pursuant to our rules, we don't take bills out of, we don't do the cards or really take bills out of committee.
The bill passed in the House 75-33. For WMNF News, I'm Chris Young.
A government agency put out a scathing report on how the country polices the energy industry. WMNF's Jimmy Rosilio reports the findings hit on issues known all too well on the Gulf Coast.
The Government Accountability Office criticized the Department of the Interior's failure to uphold decommission deadlines for offshore oil structures. Delays in enforcement leave nearly half of the wells and platforms in the Gulf close to or beyond the end of their useful lives. Scott Eustace is the community science director with the environmental group Healthy Gulf. He says the resources are there to make a change.
The industry tends to lay off more experienced hands after these price crashes, and that's what's happened. But we need to hire those people back. They put in these wells. They know exactly the waters that are in. They know how to take them out. It's just that the oil companies don't want to employ the people at the rates they can command.
Eustace says these outdated structures hinder beach restoration and clean energy projects. The GAO report mentions that old wells and platforms are more likely to have a spill or cause pollution. For WMNF News, I'm Jimmy Rosilio.
The Florida Senate made a procedural move on Friday that sets the stage for lawmakers this week to consider a revised proposal aimed at keeping children off social media. The legislature and Governor DeSantis have been negotiating on the issue, and DeSantis vetoed the original bill on Friday. The bill includes trying to prevent kids under the age of 16 from creating accounts on at least some platforms, but the Senate's procedural move would allow lawmakers to add a negotiated social media proposal to a related bill, which had been in the Senate committee, and pass it. Senate President Kathleen Passidomo expects the Senate to take up the issue today. Expect scattered thunderstorms developing this afternoon. Highs will be in the low 80s. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, overnight lows in the mid 60s. And tomorrow, scattered afternoon thunderstorms with highs in the low 80s. I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.